that I just never used and I need to use them. So this video is just gonna be me using that with some thoughts about Blerdcon. I also want to say that while I've had a lot of problems with it, I still do recommend it as an attendee, but anything other than that, I'm sorry, I can't. I did have a good time outside of the time I was supposed to have as a vendor. So don't totally avoid the convention. Maybe just go to have fun and party like I did. Cause oh my god, I kind of went hardcore with the partying. So enjoy this speed paint of a color wheel meme that was over a year ago over audio of me telling you how much this was probably the worst Artist Alley experience I've ever had. And I know this video is different, but please like and subscribe anyway. I'm really trying to get monetized soon, and thank you. Okay, and just so you know, I'm sorry there's some audio issues with these files. I don't know what happened, so just keep that in mind. This was the worst Artist Alley experience I have ever had. Parentheses, so far. Because, there's always going to be a con coming up that might be worse. Thursday. According to the email, they said setup was to start at 1 p.m. on Thursday. But I get there, I would say 2 p.m. And there were no tables, no chairs, no concrete place to even get my badge. After walking around, I finally found someone in the vendor hall. But the thing is, none of the staff had t-shirts or even a badge that differentiated themselves from just regular con-goers. So I finally found someone who just saw me on a list on their phone and gave me a badge. I didn't have to show my ID or anything. I probably could have just lied and got a badge. That's how low stakes it seemed. And little did I know, this was going to set the tone for the rest of the weekend. I got to the room that I was assigned in, and there were no tables. No chairs. I sat around with just other artists, just vibing. I literally just laid on the floor having conversations with people. Someone took initiative and just stole their own table from another vendor room. And then we found a room full of chairs and I just kind of took one for myself. And the Artist Alley didn't get the nicer chair, so I'm glad I did that because I had a nice chair. Finally, a staffer delivered the tables close to 5 or 6. And a bunch of people set them up. I set up my basic grids tablecloth. And thought, yeah, this was a rough day. Also, I had some personal stuff that was going rough that day. So I'm just going to go to my room and chill. Till the next day. It's Friday! Everyone is here. But we realized that 46 tables in this small of a room was way too much. Way too much. I mean, I gave it the benefit of a doubt back when I saw the room being empty and thought, yeah, we could fit everyone. No, the aisles were too small. Not even standard length so people with disabilities can fit in. There was lots of choke points. It was like we were cattle pretty much. One of my table neighbors was frazzled and people didn't look at the numbers of the tables they were assigned. I mean, how could they? There wasn't any numbers. There were no staffers. And us vendors and artists had to help each other. There wasn't any order, so we had to try and make an order. A lot of the people I talked to were tabling for the first time at Blerd or first time ever, which makes me wonder, are there no repeat Artist Alley people? Not only that, I realized that there was more than just 2 rooms. For people who've never been to a convention, you usually have 2 rooms of commerce. You have the dealer's room, which is more traditional vendors selling licensed merchandise, books, and other things. Then you have Artist Alley, which is mostly just small business artists and people making fan art or original art that they're selling. Sometimes there's a third, which is an art show, which is a different sort of setup. But yeah, the main 2 you'll always have is an Artist Alley and a vendor room. And usually they're separate, and there's usually only 2 rooms. Very simple. There was 4 rooms. 3, kind of, because the bigger room was technically 2 rooms that was mashed together. But 4 rooms. And one of the rooms, such as the room I was in, wasn't even in the guidebook as a room. Which made me think, did they intentionally just oversell this to make some extra scratch for the con? And then piled everyone in? It's okay to basically reject some people. It happens at all cons. We don't take it personally if you have to say, we don't have enough room for all these people. Some people have to be cut. It's happened. I've been waitlisted and cut several times. And then, as I'm kind of trying to enjoy my first Blerd, I hear stories, lots of stories, about how this event is always disorganized and the best thing to be is just an attendee. And I'm just like, I took a chance here because this is the 7th year of a con. And I mean, it's always kind of dodgy doing a first year con or even second year because you're not sure if it's established a reputation. You're not sure if you'll make money at it. But Blerdcon had good attendance numbers and stuff. It's just, it was way more disorganized for a con that's been around for 7 years. Oh, by the way, this room I was in, basement. Not only basement, but a corner of the basement that did not get any data and Wi-Fi. Even if you bought the hotel Wi-Fi, which they said, they put out an email at 1 a.m. the night before the con saying, hey, if there's no Wi-Fi, you have to buy it from the hotel for like $18 a day. No, fuck that. I had to make sales by taking the product and the customer to the escalator, wave my phone in the air like it's 1996, and hope for a reception so I could finally make a card payment because people don't just pay cash anymore. We are not a very cash society. We have Apple Pay and cards and chips and all this other stuff. I didn't even get to use the nice little tap and pay on my phone like I set up for the con. Day 2. The room was rearranged when I got down. Some artists just took it upon themselves to move to the more profitable and visited room upstairs. Did they get permission? No, because fuck it, who would you even ask for permission? Now, those people, they were badass, but also it gave us some breathing room. The aisles were so small before that I was worried for anyone trying to get through if we ever got a crowd rush. And due to the very poor first day and poor in terms of sales and everything, my neighbor just slept in like a vacay and I don't blame them. And I honestly just kind of chilled out. Like usually I'm much more tense and high strung and gotta get it done, gotta be on time, blah, blah, blah. But the whole kind of vibe gave me this ennui of, fuck it. I mean, I even like kind of partied and drank the night before, so it's like, whatever. Some guy came around to talk to all of us and he was like, had this robot helmet with a voice changer or something. He gave my friend who was watching a booth for me while I went to the bathroom a free badge because we were supposed to get 2 of a table. I didn't know. And I was like, oh, crap, it's so easy to get a badge at this con. And half the time, I don't even think anyone was checking badges. So I'm like, fuck. Our friend who didn't have a badge, I just gave it to them and was like, honestly, you probably could have just got around without this, to be honest. I wonder if some people just didn't get a badge and just hung out in the lobby conning. It's not a thing I endorse because cons have to have a lot of money and support to keep going. But holy crap, if you're not going to put effort into checking to make sure people got badges, what the hell? What you doing? Day 3, Sunday. The setup changed again. It was much better, but it was too late. At least I got a few sales. I didn't even make even on this con, despite all the work and new merch I made for it. I was really bitter about vending at this con, however, I spent the nights partying like a drunk cow, and substances can always turn a day around. Tired of this shit, I left on Sunday. I did get some commissions in for my little sketch cards I was offering, and sold a print or 2, and lots of buttons, but not enough to make even on the table. I took a chance on this con even though it's far from where I live now, because it's pretty much in my home territory. I mean, the DMV, if you don't know, that's DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Born and bred, that's where I'm from. So it was kind of like a family reunion being at Blerdcon and not only seeing my people, but running into people I've known like back in the past, being with my friends I've known my whole life. Blerdcon gave me a great feeling. I mean, for those of you who aren't Black, did you ever feel that feeling when you go into a convention or a space and just like, oh my God, my people. It feels good going down the escalator. Someone's like, there's a DJ playing some Missy Elliott and everyone's cosplaying and stuff like that. Blerdcon is a great feeling. I don't think I've ever had that feeling again, but holy crap, I am not vending at this con. I will go back as an attendee. Like maybe a couple years from now, if I'm just like chilling, maybe if it's closer to Otakon so I could do both within like a 2-week period. because I could manage that by staying at friends' house and stuff like that, but oh my god, no. I do not recommend vending at this con. But the main question is, why was it like this? Okay, so why was it like this? I had to look up some stuff because, there's always rumors flying around and I wanted to get things straight. Rumor number 1, things got disorganized when the co-founder died. Now, the co-founder dying happened back in 2022 and we're in 2024 now. I never saw what Blerdcon was before this year, so I can't blame someone dying for the con going bad. I mean, if one person was holding that one con together, they had bigger problems to begin with. But RIP, thank you for co-founding a con where I felt like I belonged. Rumor 2, the main person who does Artist Alley got stolen from Otakon. I don't know. So I looked up who the old artist head was, which people was like, oh man, I wish she could come back. It wasn't perfect, but we really need her. So I decided to look into this rumor. I'm just going to put this as nah. Some people were saying that they just left because of personal reasons, and sometimes people leave cons. I mean, I left the staff cons before. 3, they oversold on purpose. This is the rumor I think has the most credence because other people were also saying this. And again, we have some physical evidence here of them overselling. People before I got there, people who vended in the past said it was like 50% more vendors than usual. Thus, everyone's profits kind of got cut in half because of that, just because there was more competition. But also the haphazardness of where tables were placed. I even seen vendors that were in some hallways. It's just a matter of too many. They need to cut things down. They need to cut tables. If that means someone like me can't get in, that's fine. I live with it because that's what you do. 4, no one knows what they're doing, and or there's not enough staff. Definitely I don't think there's enough staff. There wasn't any way to really point out who was staff or not. Now, someone said in the past that they did have t-shirts and things like that. Where were they this year? Or at least a different style of badge, or even a badge ribbon that said staff. Any of that would have helped. Vendors had to do things that con staff usually do. And then, of course, say, hey, you didn't do that. I did. Give me the credit for it. They ran out of badges at one point. And there was no one to announce closing times or when the room was about to close. So people were just wandering around even when we were supposed to be closed up. The rooms were not locked. And when I asked the guy, the one staffer who I knew was a staffer because he gave out the extra badges, I was like, where is your team? Because he told me he was running this and 3 other rooms that were all the vendings. I was like, then where's your team? Why don't you have a team? He's like, I got a team. It was like, then why are you by yourself? He didn't have an answer for that. And just for random, why was the badge pickup in a whole nother hotel? Now, this doesn't have to do with any of the vendor stuff, but I heard that people went to the hotel across the street to pick up their badge but not at the place where the con was actually being held. It makes sense to have your registration and stuff in the place you're actually having the con. Am I crazy for thinking, what the hell? Why? Are there any positives to this whole experience? Freaking partied, that's what I did. When I wasn't behind the table drawing commissions and selling stuff, I just had a good time with my friends. I even went to the food truck rally, which was a whole little food truck area that also had a stage where I saw one of my friends perform. It was awesome. I drank in the night. I hung out. I got second in an anime 18 plus Jeopardy. Yeah, I only got second because I touched grass a little bit too much. Sorry, I lost some weeaboo points. And I just felt this camaraderie that, I wish I had more of back in the day. I was fortunate enough to live in an area where, and go to a school where there was enough geeks and black geeks at that. I never been through the whole only black kid in the area that knows what Dungeons and Dragons is. Because face it, once DBZ hit, oh my god, there wasn't a guy in the hood that I didn't like Goku at one point. So seeing like that feeling and that knowledge on a bigger scale, but along with a lot of girls like me who was dressed up like magical girls and then selling and making their own comics with magical girls that look like us, that was amazing. Cosplay, everything. Powerline, I saw some guys cosplayed Powerline and did Eye to Eye. You just don't understand that Goofy movie has a hold on the culture somehow. I love that movie. I got to be in a hotel. I got to be in an elevator party with a Power Ranger. Only at Blerdcon. It's such a fun con to go to, but frankly, I just don't think I'll vend again. Would I do something else, like maybe a panel or something like that? I don't know. I'm just gonna keep that maybe in the back of my mind. However, the next Blerdcon, oh, cool, it has a nice Halloween theme. It's in March. What? Marchoween? Thanks for listening, and I put a lot of other videos about this year's Blerdcon in the description. Please check them out. But also, I put up a link to my new shop down below as well. It's called Star Pepper. So check out my wares there, and I also got my commissions there as well. And yes, sorry if this video was a bit more lazy than usual. I've been mostly working a lot lately and trying to, well, work on some new stuff and get a new job at the same time. So yeah, that took me away from videos, but I really do want to get monetized soon. So I'm going to be working much harder at making videos more consistently. All right, see you later.